Hello and welcome to another video from Dread Tidings. Hello, how are you? A couple of things to tell you. First off, just heard today some very sad news. Nemesis Scourge, the guy who helped set the Nerdsphere network up, he did the blog, he did all the IT and the tech for the original Nerdsphere network forum as well. Sadly passed away last week. He seems to have had a very bad chest infection that really just has ravaged him, and sadly he's passed away. And it's complete shock. I mean, I can't say I really knew him that well, even though he was always around. He was an extremely shy individual and sort of kept himself to himself quite a bit, did Nemmy. But he was still a fixture, and he was still a really nice sort of guy when he did speak to him. And it's a real loss. It's a real shame that he's gone. And what can I say? To all the people that knew him better than I did, and all his family and everybody else, really, my condolences out there go to you, because it's always an awful thing. And he was only 30 years old. 30 years old. As I get older, I realise just how young that is. So really, seriously, R.I.P. Nemmy. Godspeed, or whatever it is that you believed in, then I hope you're at peace now, and I hope you're at rest there. But yeah, R.I.P. Nemmy. The other bit of business that we have is kind of in the same vein. On Tuesday or Wednesday, myself, Timey and Grufflock decided to get together and sort of say that basically the Nerdsphere had kind of had its day in its current form, and that really the podcasts on there had got to a stage where they could sort of live on their own and on their own terms, and especially Back to the 80s. So Back to the 80s now has its own forum. It's backtotheeighties.freeforums.net. I'll put the link down below, and I promise I will do this week as well. I definitely will do that. But yeah, it's got its own forum. This video will be linked on there as well, and it's got the podcast on there, and the homeworks and the questions and all the other little bits, discussions about old crisps and sweets and things like that. And I'm sure we'll do 80s comics and all that kind of guff as well. So yeah, go there. Like I say, backtotheeighties.freeforums.net. And I suppose we should get on with this video, really, because it's been it's been an interesting day. I've had to go back to Wix 3 times because the lamp that I wanted from them wasn't working as it should do. And it was all due to a little screw cap lock that should have been on there, but that wasn't on there properly. But got it sorted in the end, because my old lamp broke, so I now have a new 400 watt lamp. I probably need another one sort of that side as well, but that's at this side. So we'll see how this video goes, and obviously I'm sure it'll be fine. So yeah, as promised, well, not as promised, because I said Seeds of Doom, but then the lamp broke, so I wasn't going to do that. But so we're looking this time around at one of my favourite Masters of the Universe Classics figures in Mosquitor. Oh, Mosquitor, how I love you. Little bit of background on this guy. I had him in his original form as a kid, and I seem to have been one of the only people in the universe that had this figure, because apparently it was really stupidly rare. But I definitely had him. I remember the little gimmick he had on his back, where you press the button on his back and the blood filled up. And I kind of like gory, weird stuff like that. So I was really happy to have that figure as a kid. And then I grew up and realised that he was very rare, and apparently not a lot of people had him. But as soon as I heard that this guy was coming out, I wanted him, and I made it my mission at one point. Yes, I have to get this guy. But he was kind of difficult to get at the time. And then I'm pretty sure it was Jai that sold him to me, along with Hordak, and couldn't be happier about that, because I love Hordak, I love the Horde, and I especially loved Mosquitor, even though he had no media appearances at all. He was in the comics, he was in a mini-comic, and he was in the Marvel comics for a bit. Nothing in the cartoon whatsoever, just absolutely nothing. Never appeared in the Mike Young Productions either, which we'll go into in a little bit. But yeah, here we go. Here's Mosquito in his box. And yeah, it's just the normal Masters of the Universe Classics box, really. Nothing really to write home about. It's got the great Masters of the Universe Classics logo, got the box there. And other than that, it's just a white box, nothing really interesting. So let's have a look this in. So, opening that up. get rid of the box. And there you have the Masters of the Universe Classics box with Mosquito at the bottom with the Evil Horde sticker on there as well. And there we can see good old Mosquito included within. Again, a really nice logo. Always love that logo. Only one thing about these boxes really, I think maybe they could have been done in the old style. I understand what they've done with them, and it's nice that they've got the little bit of Grayskull at the bottom there and everything, but I would have liked maybe perhaps the old style. But there you go. Can't fix it. It's already been done. And on the back, obviously, you got ones that you can collect. So you got Horde, you got Mosquito, Grizzlaw, Catra, Leech, and Shadow Weaver. So all the Horde. Want that one. Never going to have it. Want that one. Feeling that. I want that one. I want Leech. So hard. Leech was cool. And then we have the little blurb on the back. We never really got to know much about Mosquito, obviously, with him not having much of a presence in the media. So his real name apparently is Blidian Black. He's a cribbling insectoid vampire from the Glubux galaxy. Mosquito joined the evil Horde on his own accord, preferring the Empire to life in a mud hole on his home world. Looking like a normal insectoid, Mosquito moves in on his prey, then stings them hard and sucks them dry. He's extremely vicious, though not particularly brainy. You can't get blood from a rock, but Mosquito has dried in his day. Mosquito drains his enemies of their energy, while his bionic stinger and chest ooze red with power. Even Hordak keeps his distance from the evil Horde vampire. And then some old box art, or Marvel Comics art there for himself as well. Really cool. So, let's get Mosquito out of his plastic prison so we can have a look at him. So there he is. Good old Mosquito there. And his gun, which we will have a look at in just a second. Take his gun out first. And then we'll pop him from here. Because there's a few differences to his old incarnation. Good old Mosquito. And we'll go through them as we will. So yeah, there's Mosquito and his bionic armour. That's not his real head, you see. That's just like a cybernetic bionic thing that he has on. That's his real eye. So he's sort of like an insectoid vampire. So that's really cool. I always liked that. I always liked the fact that he was just this, a bit of an enigma though. You never really knew what he was, but they sort of, not lessened the enigma at all, sort of clarified what exactly he is. So that's not him. That's not his real head. I love the fact that you do have the red, the clear red section there. Although sadly no button on his back to do that and fill it up. But you know, there's a few other features as well. Now I really do like the fact that he doesn't really conform to most of the Masters of the Universe figures. He's quite clearly a bit different. So these legs here, for instance, his bionic legs that he's got, very, very nice. I do like the red parts on there. He does look more robotic, because obviously that's not his real feet. They are sort of robot feet. But he does have Masters of the Universe legs, as you would. And really there's some nice detail all over his body. His sort of carapace at the back there. If we have a look, there's some really nice detail just round here and on his back and everything. It's really, really nice. And if the light catches it right, you can just see it. And it really does look good. Sort of insectoidy. And his arms, obviously, not so much. But I do like the fact he's got these gloves on. These brown gloves. I really like how that looks with the little Horde red flash there as well, and even the, you know, the see-through section of his chest, Horde as well. It's in the Horde bat symbol, because obviously that's who he represents. Now he does have these bits, because obviously he's insectoid, and they sort of play that up a bit more than they used to in the original toy. Obviously the original toy didn't have these bits, but he does have these really cool insect legs. Now if you don't like them, they can be removed, or they can be put at the back, so that they look like that. Or if you're like me, I kind of like it. I kind of like the fact that he would sort of stick them into his victims to hold them while he does his stuff. He does his horrible stuff. And they can be moved around. They're on a ball joint, and they're also going from side to side as well. So yeah, you can do pretty much what you want with them. Like I say, I like having them up here. I think that looks really, really good. But yeah. So obviously, to take his carapace off, you need to take his head off. which is really easy because it's quite a big head. So yeah, it's quite easy. Now if you lift his arms up, you can actually see the little tabs there, so all you need to do is pop them off on each side. It's quite easy, it's not difficult to do. And then his whole carapace sort of comes off there, revealing just a normal Masters of the Universe sort of book stroke body. But it does look rather weird, and I will put his head back on. It looks rather weird with his head on, but you can also sort of say, well, that's kind of what he looks like. That's what Mosquito looks like under it. Kind of weird, giraffe, long neck, because his carapace is just really, really big. I love the red though. The way the red. It would have been even better for me though if it had been halfway full. I think that would have looked cool. Sort of made it look a bit gory than it was, but it is so shiny and so red. It's absolutely lovely. Well, obviously we'll put his carapace back on there because Mosquito, yeah, he is an insectoidy type guy. I can imagine this being more difficult putting back on than taking off. And you're not wrong, Glenn. He says, talking to himself. That's quite easy to put back on. And then on the other side, just push it down a bit so it's in a bit more. That probably needs a bit more pushing in a bit. And just pop his head back on. Now, of course, that's Mosquito. He does have a bionic stinger, which is this thing. It's basically his gun. But it's really rendered in purple. It's got two types of purple there. You've got this purple here, the normal sort of dull purple. Then down here you've got a metallic section, which is really nice, and it kind of pops really nicely off the gun. You can actually see it shining in the light there, so it's really, really nice. It's a nice looking thing. And obviously Mosquito gets to hold it in his hand like so. Now the one thing that I have against this figure is the fact that because this section, the carapace, is quite bulky, it makes it difficult for his arms to sort of pose. Because his arms are quite well posed. I mean, they've got the standard sort of Masters, you know, posability. So at the bicep at there, and then obviously at the wrist as well. That's fine, it's intact, but it can't move much more because the carapace gets in the way. Now, obviously, it's a kind of what do you lose in having the carapace? And that's what you lose. You lose some of the posability, which is a shame, but also completely understandable. It doesn't detract from the figure. The figure still looks cool, and I still really like it. It's quite cool to be able to own Mosquito again, especially because you know the fact that it's so rare in the real world. To actually have the Masters of the Universe Classics version is a bit of a treat, if I'm being honest. So I really do like it. And if you do want to get it on eBay, I've had a quick look, and prices range from about sort of £20 to about £30, £40. So he is available to get at quite a good price. I certainly recommend him. He looks great on your shelf next to Hordak. I know I need quite a few more Horde figures to add to my collection there, but he's definitely available. So yeah, definitely try and pick him up. That's pretty much it from me, though. I will be back next week, and it will be Doctor Who. I do promise this time. But yeah, obviously, like I say, love and respect to Nemmy. Wherever you are, I'm sure it's a better place than you are, than you were. Sorry. And obviously, please do join back to the 80s.freeforums.net. Go on the forum there, mess about with it, have a look, introduce yourself, everything, and obviously keep listening to the podcast. We'll be back on Friday, and there'll all be a cyber tracks this week as well for you as well. So seriously, do take care, and each other. Be sure to tell the people that you love them on a regular basis, because you never know, as we've seen, you never know what can happen. But please, peace, love, and respect to you all. Bye-bye for now.